What did you expect? Welcome, Sonny. Make yourself at home. Marry my daughter. You've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. The common clay of the New West. You know. Morons.
And welcome to Morons Mince Movies. I am your host, Moron, Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Ublester Peñalosa II and Mr. Arkham, the Black Panther Arturo.
Hi.
Welcome. All right. We are talking about Black Panther today. That is what we're mincing. It just came out on Friday.
To be more
To be
accurate.
specific, yes, Black Panther, Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. Yes, yes. Wakanda forever.
Why
And
do you gotta say it like that?
I'm
You
sorry.
always say it like that.
I'm sorry.
Wakanda forever.
I just like the accent.
It comes out. Yeah, I agree.
I like the
way
accent. Why
hear
can't I appreciate the accent? If it
Fine,
was a British
fine.
film, I would
Yeah.
probably say it with my British
Wakanda
accent.
forever.
Yes, exactly. Wakanda forever. That's a great film.
forever.
Anyways, what the?
Don't own it. Beyond the
WWE.
What's going on here?
So I'm drinking Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's
And I was
why.
thinking of Jon Snow.
Oh, there you go.
What
That makes
happened?
sense.
What just happened?
We're
This
morons.
intro is a
Good.
complete
We're
mess.
back. We've been here for a while.
Complete
Best.
mess.
We're happy to be
Best.
here.
All right, so we're drinking some stouts, Arturo
are.
and I, and Uber is drinking the same shit he always drinks. Yeah, this is White Claw, and our producer over there is drinking some Mother's Milk or whatever.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth.
Again,
Cali Creamin'.
brought to you by
Forgot.
the boys on
Yeah.
Amazon Prime Video.
Mother's milk, man. That's
Brought
the
to you
best.
by Mother's Milk.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's talk about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Hell yeah.
I just saw this yesterday. We're recording
We all
this on
saw
a
it
Friday.
yesterday. Yeah,
Yeah, we all
Well,
saw
you
it
two
on-
saw it together.
Yes,
You guys
did.
shared popcorn, held
We did.
hands.
we had a nice little bro date. Yeah.
Clearly a picture of
Yes,
us
please
together.
put the picture in.
Yeah, we should put the
I already
picture.
fucking
We'll send you the
know.
picture.
We didn't even have to tell him. I already knew he was going to do it.
Our
But yeah,
producer
we
saw
went.
it today. He saw it earlier today.
That's
So
right.
we're very, very, fresh. So let's get going with some general thoughts, with which we start off with. I'm going to start off with you, Arturo.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because we usually start with Uble. So,
Yeah. I wanted to change it up.
Yeah,
I wanted-
I appreciate it. So I think all in all, like, wow. The fact that this film is more of like an emotional story channeling grief and then at the same time wanting to protect your people, and that being like the basis of the opposing sides in this film, I thought it was incredibly well told. I got choked up a lot. And it was badass. It made me proud of my heritage. And
Really?
yeah,
Because of the.
Are you
of
from
the,
Wakanda?
good guess.
No. Oh, you're talking about Namor.
Yes, Namor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Namor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had
Same.
a fucking amazing time with it.
Yeah.
Uble?
Same. I mean, I now that you mention those things, I really do like those aspects. I like seeing a Spanish-speaking, Mesoamerican looking actor and actress and group of people talk. That shit made me feel proud, you know?
Yep.
To not have to depend on the subtitles to know what they were saying for some parts. That shit was cool.
I think
but
at some point they were like speaking Mayan.
some really.
Oh, you guys aren't fluent?
old-
Oh, shit.
No, I
No.
slept during the
And the
Mayan
actor
class.
is Tenoch Huerta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I am happy that I can finally fucking cosplay as a Marvel character without really fucking having to
really
try
doing
hard.
anything.
I was
Just take off your shirt and put some jewelry on.
I was so excited to tell you that
Fucking
you should
nose
cosplay
ring.
as him.
Yeah,
dude. Yes,
yeah.
you did. You got the
I
facial
never
hair,
expected
like,
it,
look.
yeah.
Yes.
Prior to this, it was Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the closest I could pull off because of my skin tone. But now I can fucking pull off a Namor cosplay at an event. So look at that shit. That's me. I just need the pointy ears and a nose ring
And some wings on your
we're in.
ankles.
Yeah,
You do this.
we're in.
Dude,
I can see
You
it.
gotta need the
And you know what?
headgear.
I'm
You
gonna
gotta get the
Photoshop
headgear.
your face into that poster, dude.
Please don't.
And I'm gonna take it
Please
to
don't
Noel,
do that.
and it's gonna be see right here.
Nope, I'm not gonna do that.
Uble,
No.
what do you really think about the movie?
Fucking long. Sam,
Thank you. Thank you.
you heard my deep breathing during the movie, and I think I heard yours for a few parts of this fucking movie.
Wait, what do you mean by deep breathing? What was happening on the screen?
No.
We were touching each other. There was some touching.
That's what it sounded like. No. There was. I dozed off, man. It's blasphemy. I know. I fucking knew. I knew that reaction was gonna happen from Arturo. I dozed off, man.
We talked about this after the movie.
Yeah,
I was like,
briefly.
oh man, this is gonna be
I
interesting.
was on 3 hours worth of sleep, and like.
And still, you were awake.
I was engaged. Well, I also
watched
bought
it during the
popcorn.
daytime.
I watched it at 3 p.m. I also took pistachios to keep myself awake, just because of the lack of sleep.
We
but
had both me and Sam had multiple beers. We watched it late at night. I think it was a
9:45 showing.
9:45 p.m., which means the movie didn't start till like fucking 10:15 or 10:30. Fucking thank you very much. Previews.
Yeah, there's so many previews now.
Fucking 20 or 25
like, it
minutes
used to
of that
always be
shit.
15-ish,
Yeah.
and then lately it's been like closer to 30.
I wrote a letter to AMC himself, telling him to fucking cut that shit out, but he hasn't responded. So, but yeah,
Anyways.
I was fucking tired. In my defense, and B, there was a lot of. I feel like it could have been cut out. The whole CIA. We'll get into it later, but there was a huge story arc of this movie that I felt could have been cut out. Could have reduced it down to 2 hours, maybe a little bit more than 2 hours, and I probably would have been able to stay awake. But I dozed off for a few parts of the movie, and I'm not proud of it, but it happened, man. And even it wasn't even like the quiet time. It wasn't like, oh, you probably dozed off
Mid-fight?
when they were talking. Yeah, I dozed off like fucking heavy action explosion parts of the movie. I was can't do one of these things. But even then, I still give this movie a pretty good grade, which I will review later.
Oh my God, Uble, you're such a
Pretty
pushover.
good. I said pretty good.
Pushover.
Motherfucker, I said pretty good.
Of Arturo.
No.
Arturo
no,
just
no,
gives you
no.
the face like, oh, no, I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh, trust me, man. No.
You know, even though I fell asleep.
Because I've no.
You know,
Even though I fell
I
asleep.
fell asleep multiple times.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I
fell
fell asleep because of the length.
Too, yeah.
That
I fell asleep
means,
because of the
that means
length.
there's some issue with the length.
Yeah, that's why I'm not giving it an A fucking plus.
Yeah,
you
I'm
don't even
giving
know
it
my
a-
grade yet,
It's
bro.
gonna give it like an 8.9.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure.
no. Little do you know it was an 8.7. Ha! In your face.
All right.
Let's see it.
I'll start off with the positives. I will say this is the best Marvel movie I've seen this year. In 2022. It's
wait.
definitely better than Thor and Doctor Strange. The multiverse
Your thoughts
of
about
Miles
Doctor
shenanigans.
Strange? No, I mean,
Okay.
Maybe if
That's
they had
separate
hot dog
that's a
fingers.
separate argument.
I really didn't think those movies were.
Maybe
any
if Doctor
good.
Strange had hot dog fingers, you would be more into it. But
Oh, don't
That's a
fucking.
reference to
Unfortunately, he
everything,
didn't.
everywhere, all at once.
We should do.
All
we
up in
should,
your face.
We should do an episode on the multiverse and do those two movies at the same time.
Oh,
because
that would be a good
That-
idea.
they're
I
like,
like that.
they're like on separate.
like that.
They're separate spectrum.
Yeah.
Separate sides of the spectrum.
you know what?
Anyways,
Another one we can add to that? Airbud.
No, we're not adding Airbud.
Airbud?
No.
Airbud,
Shut
Doctor
up.
Strange.
Shut up. I'm not getting into fucking Airbud tangent again. Here's what I want to say. I think it was a well-made movie. Ryan Coogler is a great director. And there's actually good acting in this.
There is.
yeah.
There really
Good
is.
performances.
I want to get into that.
So all of that stuff was good. I like the fact that it wasn't this like jokey kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there was some serious moments.
Inappropriate
It took
jokes.
itself seriously.
Yep.
However, I agree with Uble, man. This movie dragged. It dragged,
dragged, man.
in moments where I felt it shouldn't even drag. Like the third act, the action sequences, that is where I also was dozing off. It was, and the thing is, like, I dozed off, and I would wake up, and I'd be like, okay, they're still
Yeah.
fighting. They're still fighting. I'm
still
good.
talking.
I think it was only 15 seconds, and then according to Uble, it was way longer than 15 seconds.
There were times where I'd look over, I would just hear the. And I look over, and you kind of be doing that. These things.
The third act was just like
It was
it
long,
felt.
man.
I don't know. It just felt like another. I hate to say it just felt like another Marvel movie where you get to the fights and it's like again you have the big
Yeah.
fight. The armies are fighting each other and everything like that.
Yeah.
And
You're describing every
there-
action movie, though.
But there's no
No.
stakes. No, I'm not describing a reaction movie.
No.
But with the Marvel movie, there's no stakes. You know that the Black Panther's going to win. You know that the villain's going to be finished here, defeated. And you know, so
was he?
He
That's a
was.
different question. I like that.
he-
I like that because that's something that we
Yeah,
can
he
talk about
doesn't.
later.
He doesn't get killed, but he's defeated.
Yeah.
Was he?
He was. He was
He
defeated.
yields.
He
He
yields.
That's
Yeah.
not the same as defeat.
That is the same as defeat.
And then what they teamed up at the end, or they
They don't
came
really
to a
team up. They
compromise.
come up with an alliance in
Exactly.
which Wakanda basically
When was the last time
is
we
like.
saw that?
Wait, but Toluca
Thanos
doesn't.
didn't do that with Captain America.
Well, Thanos is a different kind of villain.
I just realized I said it like in Spanish too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I think it was one of the better Marvel movies of this year.
So-
but yeah, it dragged, and I have some other issues. Like I didn't. Well, should we get into spoilers now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, spoiler alert from here on out. Spoiler alert. So one thing I didn't find the whole what's her name, the
Riri.
Iron Man,
Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Ironheart. I found her very uninteresting. Very like, what is she even doing in this story? I don't really care about her. She kind of comes out of nowhere. She's for
She
some
created
reason.
the technology that can detect vibranium.
Yeah, but it's
which is
almost
what
like
they wanted to stop.
why do they care so much about killing her? Like it's just
It's
like can
Namor
you just
wanted
like
to
trap
kill
her and they just tell her like, hey, don't make any more of these machines? Or
That's
kind
what
of like
Shuri. That's what Shuri wanted.
I know,
honestly-
I know, but it's like it seems almost illogical that Nomar or Anamor or what Amor,
Miguel.
Nomar,
I don't know.
it wants to kill her so badly
Yeah.
when it seems very obvious. Like all you gotta do is just say like, hey, don't do any more of these
Yeah.
things.
Cut it out.
But it's almost like it was contrived is the word contrived to make the conflict exist where it shouldn't.
What's
actually need to
really
exist.
interesting to me, Sam, and I'm going to agree with you on this.
What?
Whoa.
I disagree.
Where am I? Oh shit!
I disagree.
Well,
What the fuck is
Here's
happening?
my thing about the
I'm mutual.
Here's
No.
my thing about the plot line. I felt that's like, yes, that was maybe the plot device to get the conflict started, but that could have been anything. And I felt having that additional storyline actually pulled away from the bigger storylines, which were grief and dealing with T'Challa, which
Yeah.
I want to get into.
I like that
and
part.
then
Yeah.
Namor
That's another
and
issue
his
that I have.
family,
Okay.
Yeah.
and all that, and trying to protect his people. Like those were the two biggest things, and I felt this really pulled away from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my biggest question is, I know she's getting her own Disney Plus series.
Who is?
Ironheart.
Oh.
Was she? Was Ryan Coogler forced to write her into
It
the film?
feels forced.
For
It
the lead
doesn't.
off to
Yeah.
her
It
show,
doesn't.
It
or
feels
was it
very
the other way
forced,
around?
no.
And the whole CIA thing also feels forced.
It honestly did this time around
Yeah.
to me. Like,
How did it
and
not feel
doesn't
forced, Noel?
detract too much from the film, but to me personally, but it did feel very like everything else was like very like. I just pulled away. I don't know how else to describe it.
I agree with you 100%.
It didn't mesh.
And
Yeah.
here's one thing about the whole
like they were
Chadwick
cool
Boseman.
though. Like and it was interesting seeing Lettitia in more of a lead role, and I didn't hate Riri or the actress that played Riri Williams, Ironheart, but it felt like they kept pulling away from everything else that was happening. To me personally,
Yeah.
I agree. I felt that this movie should have been 100% about the lack
grief.
of the Black Panther,
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa, the character is dying, and it felt like that was just the bookends of it. So like you have the beginning, which is very much about T'Challa's death and all that stuff,
like,
and then it seems like
let's
everybody
talk
kind of
about that.
forgets, and then it gets bring up at the end again, and it's I wish.
no. I mean, I feel like you see Lettitia having to carry that throughout the entire film
You do a little bit, but
as
it's
Shuri, and then Angela
there's all these
Bassett.
distractions.
Holy shit!
Yeah, she
does well.
definitely-
Yeah, she
She
good
does not do
performance.
well. She does amazing in this.
I
Yes.
will say it was weird
she's
to
good.
see her
She's
with
very
her
good.
hat.
She's very good.
I always had to remind myself that it was her because her with her hat on, and then her with the full head of white hair. That shit was always like, oh fuck, she's got a full head of white hair. Oh wait, she's got her hat on. It would just, for me personally, you didn't
It's like
think
if
that?
you take off your hat, I know you have hair.
Yeah, but imagine if you don't see any of my hair, and then I take off my hair and it's like fucking white.
You
all
see
white.
the wisps of it, and I remembered her having white hair in the last.
I don't
movie.
see her with some.
Why are
This
we
is,
talking
I'm just saying.
Pull up a
It's something that came up. God damn.
Wait, I want to
I
get to
want to hear
Noel.
no. Yeah, I
Okay.
want to hear yeah.
Before I get to that, because you guys started with the beginning, did all of you guys notice the moment of silence when
Yes.
the
Yeah. that was pretty heavy.
Marvel,
The
the
Marvel-
credits. Yeah,
yeah.
it was all Chadwick.
dude,
Bro.
the theater was silent.
Same with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard
That makes sense.
no,
It was great.
ours-
Yeah,
it
I
was
agree.
beautiful.
It was good.
And like
The
honestly,
beginning
like,
was great.
Oh,
The beginning
that
was
gutted
good.
me.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's a big part of this film is like whether or not they were gonna. Because unfortunately, when Chadwick tragically passed away, Ryan already had the first script of this film done.
Already.
Yeah, they had to rewrite the entire script.
I mean, the Namor was always meant to be the antagonist.
Yeah.
But there was so much that had to be shifted, and it was also the idea like, do we carry on? Do we recast? What do we do? Do we change things?
Yeah.
And regardless of how you think maybe the direction they should have gone in, like having them go in this direction and having it be this thing that T'Challa also passed in the MCU, like. And seeing all of them go through their grief, like I think that brought in such a feeling of, I guess you can relate to it because as they're grieving, you're grieving, and you see the actors grieving for their friend as well.
Makes
and
it
I
real.
think that felt more real. I was choked up I was fucking gone.
But the reason why I don't think like Ironheart's part was a waste was because. In the comics,
waste. I just felt it.
Well, in the comics, there's a character that wants vibranium, like, and I mean, I don't want to say anything, but when they were talking about her professor, when they were talking about her professor, like, kind of like talking to her about like, creating exactly. I immediately started thinking, who the fuck is the professor?
I had the same question.
I had
that never got revealed.
I know. I
like,
thought it was going to get revealed.
Like,
and honestly, I think it would be like, honestly, my number one guess would be Victor Von Doom. You know, I
remember hearing a lot of whether or not he would get introduced in this film.
Yeah.
So
I can see how she like correlates to the movie very well, but the casual viewer might not see it.
I've heard these arguments where like in the comic books it makes sense, but like in terms, I'm judging the movie as a movie and not as what the comic book.
I really want to go back to this a little later about the comic book versus the movie.
Okay.
But
well, I mean,
I just think there's something I want to expand more that later the more we get into the plot.
Yeah. Well, to me, the movie how it worked in this movie, it felt very forced. This character is just being thrown in there, where it felt very contrived. I think is the right word. Where like it seemed like the writers needed to introduce this just to introduce the conflict, and it didn't feel natural to the story, and that was my problem with it. I don't know why you guys didn't feel it dragged towards. It was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
It dragged, man.
And it felt like you didn't need to be 2 hours and 40 minutes.
It felt long to me, but it didn't feel like it dragged.
Really?
Maybe I saw it because I saw it earlier in the day where I was like, awake.
Again, we watched it late. We had a few drinks in us.
But it was both of us.
And
like,
the kids,
isn't it
again,
like odd that both of us felt exactly at the same moment?
Drinking,
and we both have kids.
No, but he only had Modelos for first of all.
It's double.
He's kind of a weak. He's a kind of a cheap date. That's true.
I don't know if I should be insulted or not.
I was drinking like the winter lagers. It was like a dark beer.
Yeah, it was very dark.
Well, I mean, you got hammered off that Rasputin that one time.
Yeah, but I wasn't falling asleep.
That's true.
Yeah.
You were yelling though.
I feel like I would have been more intense.
Yelling at the screen.
Yeah, like what the fuck? God damn,
with me, I enjoyed it.
Avatars fighting the Wakandians.
I enjoyed the storyline. I enjoyed everyone's. I enjoyed everyone's scenes. I enjoyed the action sequences.
Can I say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you guys recognize the difference between how this is a much better, well-made film than Thor and Doctor Strange? You guys can't see the difference?
Let's not get into that.
Yes, I want to get into it.
That's not a conversation.
Because
I can absolutely
say this. I could tell right away as this movie was happening, like this movie was made with like actual artistic, like there was this. Ryan Coogler there
was a serious approach to this.
I mean,
is an auteur basically. Yeah. So you can see it in the movie, and then in Thor, and even though Doctor Strange was made by Sam Raimi, who I think is an auteur as well, you don't see the quality.
I fear going into that conversation will take too much time away from actually discussing the film.
Fine. We are discussing the film, but I'm trying to show you like why I think this is a much better film than the other. No,
I'll agree saying that it's one of the best films of Phase 4. Like.
I think it's.
Wait, does that include the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah.
To me, that's
I think
top
No
tier.
Way Home is better than this one.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the highest of Phase 4.
Yeah.
But
did you guys notice Kamara Usman? He's a UFC fighter.
Yeah, he was one of the River Tribe, the Border Tribe. Yeah, who got in trouble. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He was yelling with M'Baku.
Yeah.
Okay, I love the M'Baku.
Yes, he was good.
The fact, and I really like, because we were talking earlier about like this, someone took itself more seriously. I love that the comedic relief was really just his one-liners, and it's already expected of him, and it works.
And it's natural.
Yes.
That's another thing. Like the other, if you go back to, we're going into the
Thor.
Like
you
Thor.
are. You're going back.
No, I agree.
It's just that
we
want
have to
you
mention
guys,
these things
because you guys think that I don't like Marvel because I am like a Marvel hater.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't like Marvel is because I see these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And like a movie like Thor is so like it's so forced, and like the jokes are so forced and so cheesy, and everything's just like, oh god, I'm rolling my eyes most of the time. While in this movie the jokes seem natural. It's a part of who they are, the characters, like that character is the
I'm
comedic
not arguing
relief.
that. I was just saying the fact that you expect that from the Thor films, but to an extent. That's also a conversation in itself. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I saw
you finally saw it?
Yeah,
Okay.
we talked. I texted you guys about it.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did. You said you wanted to talk all about the Thor movies.
Yeah, I said that I liked it a little bit more than Doctor Strange, and you guys were like, no,
that's right.
no.
We tore you apart.
We did.
At least it made me laugh. Doctor Strange,
So one of the things
That's
that,
right,
and
though.
I know we're branching off of Black Panther
yeah,
itself.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry, that's my fault.
No, I'm gonna explain why I have to branch off of it is because so far, these last few movies released by Marvel.
There's only been three though.
Okay, so far these last 3 movies released by Marvel, I don't see any connection. I don't feel like there's a connection
Within like the bigger MCU.
within the bigger MCU. Yeah, like there's
I mean,
no.
That's an argument in and of itself, though. Is like the idea of how much of these like it's. I feel like if there's a film that interconnects too much, there's
I'm
all
not
these
even asking
people
for a lot. Yeah, I'm
but
not
see,
even
no,
asking for
that's the thing.
cameos.
Like when you have a film, for example, like Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, that had so much going into it,
Yeah.
you're gonna have so many people complaining, like, "Oh, I don't want to have to watch all these
Right.
things leading up to
Right.
it."
Right,
and then
right,
you have
right.
a film that's more self-contained, and then people are like, "Oh, it doesn't connect enough."
Yeah.
So it's always you down if you do, you down if you don't.
It is.
So at this point in the MCU,
I disagree with Uble on that one. I think this movie was fine as it was, whether it's self-contained. My problems have not been about the connection with Marvel.
I think it's not even with the movies. The thing that I'm trying to say is
What? What are you gonna
There's a connection
There is a connection.
Fucking
What
say
is it,
it
Noel?
then. To
Say
seek
it.
up.
to Secret
We need
Wars.
to put a camera on your goddamn face.
Okay, what's the connection to Secret Wars then? Because I know
Okay,
there's-
so a lot of people are speculating that Doctor Doom is going to be like the main villain for Secret Wars.
See, I always thought it was for Secret Wars. Yeah,
Yeah, so again,
Kang,
that's what I
the
thought.
machine that
Kang.
Ironheart created. Again, I go back to that professor. I think that professor is Victor Von Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, shit, I see how you did that. Now I'm going to make my own and search for vibranium.
So how does that tie to the other movies that have come out? Marvel movies.
The ones that will come out.
There you
That's
go.
what I'm
not
saying.
talking about the ones that will come out. I'm talking about so far.
Stop looking in the past, baby.
You're right.
Towards the future.
You're right. Living in the past. I think also it makes it trouble because with all the TV shows that have come out,
Yeah.
I feel like what I'm trying to say is I feel like it's been blurred. I know that after Endgame, there was still a few movies that were in that phase that
There was just
Endgame
one.
was in. Okay, one.
Far From Home.
And then there was a new phase.
Sorry, with
and-
Black Widow.
And exactly. And I don't know what was the ultimate evil in that phase. The one that started with.
I mean, it's happening right now. See, that's the thing too.
So
Like,
that's what I'm saying. So now we're talking
hold
about
on,
a new phase.
Because we're talking about no. That's not a phase. Sorry, a saga.
okay.
You
Because
saga.
like within,
I get it. I get it.
Because
So
within
see-
the phase one, we weren't introduced to Thanos immediately or any of that. Everything was leading up to
That's
just
true.
Loki.
Just meeting,
You know?
yeah, to the different
To the first-
superheroes meeting.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. Because phase 4 is connected to phase 5 and 6. I feel 5 and 6 are going to be way more interconnected,
Yeah.
and then lead into the 2 Avenger films
So-
that are coming out back to back.
I guess what I'm just trying to say is after watching Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man,
Shang-Chi.
Shang. I can't read the title from here. Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider. I'm trying to read all the fucking titles from here, and I can't.
I can
'cause
tell
they're-
you them right now off the top of my head.
I
Fine.
will say this. My only issue with the whole interconnecting of the Marvel thing
and TV shows.
is that there's always some I get bored with this new evil that's like the evilest of evil, like the ultimate evil or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes another ultimate evil, and you know where all this is gonna end. They're all just gonna end up with like, oh, there's gonna be some crossover, movie at the end where all the heroes come together and destroy this evil, and it's just. We saw it once with the Infinity Saga, and I definitely give props to Marvel for doing something like that. But now we're gonna do it again, and honestly, as I get bored with this, like, okay, we've done this already. Like, can we just take a break? Like,
that's the thing. Like, because
Evil doesn't take a break.
Because ultimately, these are based on comic books.
Yeah.
And comic books.
That's never
They don't take a break.
Exactly, and that's always happened.
There's always something new.
There's always a big event that happens, usually in the summertime, and then you have your build-ups to it, and then the big event happens, and then next year you get another one.
I just feel like with the first saga, we at least had a. Whoa.
What the fuck was that?
That was a burp. I just feel like with the first saga, we at least had a consistent direction, which was Thanos and the Infinity Stones.
And it was
there was never nothing more than that.
It was also novel. You have to understand that it was also novel.
Right.
Like,
but I feel like
and we've seen this
now-
already. Like
and I would be okay with them doing that again. All right, let's build up another 18 movies.
But see, here's the thing:
to this one big bad guy.
I mean, for example, take the films Captain America: Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy. Both came out same year, both part of the same phase, both on very ends of the opposite spectrum in terms of tone.
Yeah.
Were they connected?
No, but at the end, at the end of at least one of them, you would see, okay, there was some. Like, I don't mind the standalone films. So if there was a standalone,
I'm not saying that they're standalone, and because they did tie into other things in the future, but it took several films for them to get there.
Yeah.
You know,
and
that's all I'm describing it in this sense, because this is the first phase of this new saga. There are going to be films that don't.
They're kind of introducing the main characters of what this new phase is going to be about.
Yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, I just look at it as after Endgame. There was all these movies, and I don't see how these movies.
Can I ask one thing? I know we're going off of Black Panther, but do you really find some of these new characters interesting? Because I don't. Like America, for example, from
America Chavez?
From the Doctor Strange multiverse of Mal shenanigans.
Fucking guy.
To me, I thought she was.
I found her very uninteresting.
Dude,
it's just like, who cares?
I thought she was great, and for me, a huge source of pride, which I want to get into in this film.
Why? Because she's Latina.
And she's the only Latina in the MCU outside of
identity.
Luis's
doesn't
friends.
like
No.
That's fine, but you have to make your character interesting.
No, that is my thing and my rage with the MCU and superhero movies in general. Like how long they've existed and how little representation there has been for the Latino community as a fucking whole. Yeah. All we've gotten up until now.
It's because
hold on, let me finish. I'm getting carried away in a good way. All we've had up until now in the MCU for Latino characters in films is Luis from the Ant-Man films, and then all his friends in his backstory flashbacks. That is it.
Whenever they show jail scenes,
it's because
So
you need to read more Chapulín Colorado.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, I'm all about that. I'm talking about the MCU as a whole.
Yeah.
So to see finally a Latina character of any, it's just being a forefront and being a superhero, like that was enough.
Yeah, but it's not enough for. I guess I don't care. I care about the character, whether they're fucking Latina or black or Asian. It doesn't matter. Like, is the character interesting? Well, like, that's all I care about.
To me too. Like for me personally, like when I was younger, I never cared if a character was a race. I was just related to characters that went through similar shit. But when I finally saw, for me, Spider-Man 2099, who was half Mexican, I'm like, holy shit! There's a character out there who has a similar background to mine. Like the difference that made in like seeing something like that and what that character represents to this huge community of people.
Well, let's use that to transition back into Black Panther and talk about
exactly
the cast. Tolucan people,
which is my new vacation destination.
I have to say that in terms of visual effects, this movie was pretty good. I thought it was really good. Like all the underwater scenes were really well done, and everything that happened while they're showing. God, I forgot her name. The character's name.
Shuri.
There you go. They're showing her, their land, their world.
It was beautiful. I teared up, dude. Like I was playing the song
easily
off
tear
camera
up, Arturo.
because I get emotionally invested. It was just beautiful, man. And like I don't know,
I thought it was. Yeah, it was beautiful. There was some good scenes there, very good scenes, and I liked that whole world.
Yep.
Yeah,
Zero complaints on my end. The way
seeing a world that's just beautiful and like there's harmony and there's no taxes and there's no credits or like,
that we know of.
I'm pretty sure
there's a fish tax.
Nomaru was taxing the shit out of them.
I saw someone.
What's his
Someone-
name?
Namor.
Okay, so I thought that was really interesting.
Namor, that's right.
So I want to actually get into that. So because Namor in the comics, I've always pronounced it Namor because that's how my cousin Chava, thank you, appreciate you, was always describing him as. And then later on, I heard Namor. I'm like, the fuck, you're wrong. But the character is Atlantean in the comics, which comes from the Greek myths and shit. But the fact that they went in this direction.
So they changed it up to make him Mesoamerican?
Completely. And in the comics, he's half Atlantean, half human.
Did I change that for you?
And they made the entire culture Mesoamerican.
So, okay, that's cool. That's fine. Whatever, that's fine.
So to me, like finally pronouncing it Namor, like he did, I was like, I've been pronouncing it right the way all along.
Yeah.
So just the fact that they chose to go in that direction and bring forth that culture. I mean, number one, it also separates you from Atlantis and DC Comics and Aquaman.
Yeah.
But it also gives you an opportunity to see something so vibrant and different and rich and culture, just in the same sense that they brought to life Wakanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think this movie is gonna. It's definitely the production design. It's a very well made movie. I want to say
getting that
again.
snake fucking tattooed on me.
That snake? Oh, really?
Is that dress? Yeah, I'm getting that done.
Do it.
Chest.
Do it, man.
Yeah.
On your face.
Yeah, I agree with that part. Yeah, I think you're on. I think you're on.
Yeah, we were read twice on this episode. Nice.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Before Noel,
a lot of the
bring it up.
No, go ahead, Ule.
No, Noel should talk.
Mine's really stupid.
Noel should talk. Noel should talk.
No, well, I mean, if you're looking at the movie as a whole, did you guys enjoy that slow-mo, like that visual effects where Namor punches M'Baku in the chest?
Oh,
Yeah,
Dude,
that
I
was
thought
cool.
M'Baku was dead.
I thought he was dead too.
No, he's not gonna
dude, the
die.
way he hit him, I was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
But I mean, wasn't that like pretty cool as a visual effect kind of
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't agree.
How dare you?
It was a slow motion punch. His armor
telling you,
broke.
Hold on. Speaking of action sequences, I love that you brought that up. The score was really well done in this film.
Oh yeah,
And
I
added
agree.
to the tension in a lot of scenes. Like,
I love the
particularly
Spanish
when
song.
the Talocans were all attacking the ship in the very beginning. That was dreadful. Every time the Dora Milaje showed up, the hoo, like
that was
fun.
good.
I was like, ee! Like every single time. dude.
I know you hate the Oscars, but the original Black Panther won the Academy Award for Best Score.
Yes, it did.
And it won
deserved.
for costumes and it won for production design. So the original Black
Oscars.
Panther
I just like
was
talking shit.
very well recognized by the Academy Awards, a group that you guys hate so much.
I don't hate. I literally just said I just like talking shit.
I'm just saying they recognize good art
do.
when
I
they
hate
see it. This probably won't get as many Academy Awards nominations.
Yeah, no.
But I think it does have a chance at costumes and score because I do think the score is very
Top
unique.
notch, yeah.
It's unique.
The look, the costumes, I loved all of it. It made me scared when I was watching all the underwater scenes, just because
you're
my
scared of
phobia.
water?
Oh, so yeah, you fear open
My
water,
phobia.
right? Yeah.
I think I even a few times throughout the movie looked over to you and was like, "Nope, not for me. Nope." Like they're like, "Oh yeah, so let's go check out this underwater fucking village. Put on this suit and we'll go fucking miles underneath the." And they're just like putting, and nope. And there's like a fucking squid or jellyfish. Nope. Fucking right away. Nope.
Ooh, I thought
would
that
never
was a
watch
really
that.
cool touch. Just the idea when you said squid, I was reminded of when they showed up like on the killer whales and shit.
Yeah.
Like just like that
Yeah. Nope.
communication with like aquatic life. I thought that was really cool.
No, man, all of that shit was fucking awesome.
I
The
don't-
fight scenes, the weapons, the culture, the fucking visually, the score, all fucking great. Just my only complaint, too fucking long. Too fucking long. That's
I
it.
disagree.
That's,
Bro, when Okoye was like dishonorably discharged,
Oh, dude,
that shit broke my
yeah.
heart, dude.
That much, huh?
She gave her life for that, man.
Yeah,
that was
man.
rough.
That shit broke my heart.
I agree.
Oh, Koya did really great.
I wasn't heartbroken.
I wasn't heartbroken either. I was like,
how dare you?
I feel
that
you,
sucks for you.
I feel you, brother. No.
Oh, man, I hope
It's
things work out.
amazing how you get so invested with your characters.
Hold on. Speaking of Okoye, I thought that was really interesting going into the film because, of course, we no longer have T'Challa. So who's our main character? Like, and I felt like in the beginning of the film, I felt it was very much carried by Angela Bassett's character.
Yeah,
and then she's killed.
And yes, but in the Queen and Oh, by the way, that whole fucking badass sequence at the UN. Where she calls out the US is like, we want the vibranium, and then France is like,
it was the French,
we baguette.
It was the French.
The French.
That is so racist, Arturo. So racist. Actually, our nationalist.
I took
our French
in college.
Our French are racist.
Je m'appelle Arturo.
That sounds racist too. Wow.
You think all French people speak that way? Parlez-vous français? They're gonna bring out the baguettes and whatnot and
French fries. I took a semester of French in college. Yeah. I can say baguette professionally.
I want to apologize on behalf of Arturo to all the French people out there.
If I did offend anyone. We're having a great time. I love French culture. I'm just drinking. But no, she carried that. She really did. And then after that, I was like, so is it? And then Okoye felt like she was leading it at some point. Then it felt like Shuri was leading it, so I thought that was an interesting balance of how they ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Dude, having Lupita Nyong'o come back,
she was really good.
A fresh air in the film.
And fuck, her Spanish.
Well, she's Mexican.
Well, she was born in Mexico.
She's born in Mexico. Yeah.
Fucking great actress, Academy Award-winning actress. You can just tell. You can just tell like how the good acting in this. Like you can just tell.
They didn't half-ass this.
Yeah, they just didn't half-ass it. Like this was a seriously made film, which I appreciate. Well, which I don't really feel Marvel does sometimes. I know you guys disagree, but I feel like they don't do it sometimes.
To each their own. Speaking of good acting, how badass was Michael B. Jordan's cameo?
That was pretty tight.
He came out.
That was gritty.
Yeah.
And like I was like, I was like jumping out of my seat every line he said.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It was fine. That was about the time when I was like, can we get this going, please? Hurry the fuck up.
Oh, fuck, it's not
you're still not Black Panther? God damn it.
Okay.
Which is another thing. That motherfucking didn't happen until 2 hours into the movie.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to really discuss this because I had a lot of apprehension towards the new Black Panther. So in the very, very, very first trailer teaser.
No, you got it right.
Trailer teaser.
You said that wrong at least 3 times.
Trailer taller.
Teaser trailer.
Charlie.
We only got to see like Black Panther briefly from like behind the waist, like the thigh, and then the claws. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was a lot of like theories as to who it could possibly be, whether it's a male character or female character.
I think it was obvious from the beginning.
No. A lot of people thought it was going to be a male character. A lot of people are hoping for M'Baku, which I thought was maybe a direction they were going to go in. Noel, our producer, specifically said that is not Winston Duke's thighs.
Yeah.
He specifically pointed it out, and he was right.
And he's seen his thighs.
I saw a lot of rumors / hopes that Killmonger was going to somehow survive and be the new Black Panther.
Oh, my God. As a person who didn't really see many trailers, I knew from the beginning he was going to be the sister.
I mean, that's what happens in the comics. But like to me, when that was first like even thought of, like my I guess my apprehension was only because in the comics, Shuri has been established to be a warrior, this badass that took on the mantle when needed. However, the Shuri in the MCU, all we had seen of her was that she was very technology adept. She's a genius, and we didn't get to see any fight combat. Like, we saw her blasters, but that was about it. So in my head, Okoye fit the role better, Nakia fit the role better, but I didn't see Shuri fulfilling that role. So in my head, I was really worried that if they did make her the new Black Panther, all of a sudden, like, well, where's your fight training? Yeah. But then if you do a time jump, I was already like trying to explain it in my own head. Okay, she could have had some fight training in that. But I love the fact that all that happened. was that it was her synthetic heart-shaped herb that apparently gave her a degree of super fucking strength because T'Challa never had that level of strength. And then everything
he had super strength,
but like Cap's level, not fucking punch someone across the fucking room like the Hulk.
But she was doing it out of anger though,
and that's another thing. Like the motivations were rage, revenge,
synthesize it and stuff. It could have been a much more powerful version of
so
it.
That I'm fine with that. Like I was actually really happy with the way they handled it, and she didn't become like a Mary Sue type character.
Yeah.
Everything was well established. All her newfound abilities were just the additional agility and strength, which comes from the herb. So I was like, oh, thank God. I was just worried that they were just going to jump into it with no explanation type thing, which they arguably did with Ironheart. You can get into that a little
bit.
I love you. No. But I really love the way they handled that. And then ultimately, because that was her storyline, was her grief, her revenge. That's why she saw Killmonger.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until the very end that she decided to not kill Namor and give him that chance. And I was really worried that they were killing him off right then and there.
I was too.
Right?
I was worried. I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I do want to get into the final scene, the credit scene, but before that, I do want to say that another issue I had that you just reminded me of was that the movie didn't seem to really be clear as to how we're supposed to feel about the Tolucanes, or I don't know how you call them.
Talocan.
The Talucanes, the people of Talocan. Because at first it seems like we should be sympathizing for them, but then it just like quickly switches and it's like they're evil.
Guys. Yeah.
They're evil.
I was rooting for them the whole time.
Well, no, I mean, like, if you were, then
you got it, paisa.
It seemed like the movie, that wasn't the intention of the movie. Primo. So it seemed like the movie didn't know what to do with them because they're introduced as the villain, then they're like, be sympathetic, but then don't be sympathetic because
which I guess adds to the complication of this.
Exactly,
it's not black and white.
Thank you.
It's a gray.
I know. Wait, hold on.
He's just an antagonist.
Hold on, but they don't make it seem like it's gray. That's the thing. Like at first, they make it seem, oh, this is a gray villain.
Dude, they give you his backstory.
No, they do. But then they switch it on you. They switch it on you that he is evil and he needs to be stopped.
No, he never came off as evil.
What are you talking? He goes and attacks.
That was the whole conflict.
And attacks Wakanda just because
for a reason.
Thank you.
Not for a good reason.
No. He's protecting his people, and that's always been integral to his character.
But he's illogical.
Well, in the comics, he's much more of an asshole. He is a cocky motherfucker.
It's not black and white. It's not gray. It's brown.
Wait, what?
Well said.
It's brown.
All right.
And
let's get to the end credit scene, and then we'll do our grades. End credit scene. What'd you think of that?
Oh, dude. I mean, again, I cried.
No, really? God, Arturo.
Yes.
I thought I was like a little crybaby when it came to movies, but man,
all the fucking time. You know, I blame a random Hallmark commercial.
Did you cry? Hold on. Did you cry at everything everywhere all at once?
I did.
Okay, good. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that.
I still don't know how I feel about that film. We'll get into that.
God.
Wieners! Go on.
Such a good movie, Noah. You got to watch it.
The mid-credit scene, seeing his son, T'Challa's named T'Challa.
When did T'Challa and Lupita Nyong'o's character fuck?
Do you need to see it?
Yes, I need to see it.
Do you need to see when characters poop?
I need to
know that they poop?
Because I could have sworn that they didn't.
Know.
I could have sworn there was no like any sort of.
They were holding hands randomly.
Yeah, he's asking her to
they
stay.
Made out.
Thank you.
He asked her to stay, and they made out at the very end of Black Panther.
Oh, I knew they were a romantic couple. Yeah,
they were exes.
I knew.
Classic Hollywood, where holding hands is like representative of having sex or something.
Hold on, Sam. Do you hold hands with anyone, or is it specifically your partner?
I was holding hands with Uble when I was watching this movie.
And you guys clearly made a baby.
We did.
We will name Ublest.
No, I'm not naming him Ublester.
Sam Blaster.
I'm not naming him Ublester.
Sam Blaster.
Fuck that shit.
I like Sam Blaster. Yeah.
Sam Blaster.
Unique. It's beautiful.
We'll call him Sambler.
His name will be Tres.
No. I knew that they were a romantic couple from the last movie.
Dude,
so
yeah, but I know they
he
were a romantic
like a
couple.
deer in headlights.
Look, when you have Black Panther
it just
powers,
seemed like this was ran into the movie because unfortunately, of T'Challa's death.
Clearly.
It seems like it was.
Clearly it was. Then that's fine.
I mean, that's a bigger argument in and of itself.
Even if it was, what's so wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that there's no establishment of that kind of that
Dude,
that was
they were
why
from the get-go.
it makes a little bit no sense as to why T'Challa and Lupita Nyong'o. What is Lupita Nyong'o's character? Nakia. Why is T'Challa and Nakia would hide their son? Why would they hide
escape from the responsibilities of the throne? It was,
but why T'Challa was embraced those responsibilities? Why wouldn't he try to train his son?
Try to give him a normal life, dude.
No,
this
you're
is
just
after
making excuses.
Infinity War.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. I agree with Arturo, which is now T'Challa has seen the outside world. He sees that it's not necessary for someone to grow up with that kind of responsibility of protecting a nation.
Wait, but Black
and being
Panther
a superhero.
ends. But the original Black Panther ends with the whole idea that Wakanda was going to embrace
Black Panther.
is going to be a little bit.
Infinity War happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Endgame happened.
Yeah, but we never get T'Challa's reaction to that. We don't never see what happens at all.
And you know what? The thing that sucks is that he actually died.
I know.
So you're not going to be able to see that. So this is fucking Disney trying to do their best to fix that.
The explanation that Nakia gives should be enough.
I do like that they had.
Fine, let it go. Let's get to the grades.
He has a kid. That's fine.
It's beautiful.
Go.
They might come back. I give this a C+. Do I do letters?
I do the letters.
You do
I do numbers. I do numbers.
Yeah, you do numbers.
You do the numbers.
I give it a 7.1. I think that's 7.1. Why do you always laugh when I do that?
Because it's not a C+.
I don't understand. Letter grades, it's a C+.
No, it's
Number wise, it's a 7.1 for me. I'm good.
What kind of grades did you get in school?
Do you not understand
my
the
school graded
conversion?
by pictures, so I got a crocodile in spelling. I got a elephant in math. That was a good one.
7.1?
7.1.
Wow. Uble. Yeah. I am actually going to give it a better grade than Uble did. Wow. I am shocked. I'm shocked. Yeah. Again, I think this is a very well-made movie.
It is. It's fucking great.
It suffers in its length. I think it does drag at the end. We're just like, for me, I wanted it to end, and it just wasn't ending. And 30 minutes later, I still wanted it to end. And also, like I said, I think the Ironheart storyline was very forced and it didn't feel natural to me. But I'm gonna give this a B minus. Wow. I still think the movie was well made, and there's great performances in here. There was a better movie here that I feel if Chadwick Boseman hadn't died,
I know, man,
you could have had a movie that maybe could have gotten another Academy Award nomination. But I'll give it a B minus.
I give it an emoji with heart eyes.
There you go.
Which is the top one,
rating for me.
Yes.
Very much so.
All right.
Yeah, I had a wonderful time with the movie. It suffered from a couple of things here and there, but ultimately, just the way it made me feel. We've talked about that.
Yeah. You know what? I'd like to go back and change it. Sorry, C+.
No.
C+. No, I go to a C+.
You did say it was C+.
Yeah, 7.1.
I'm still sticking to that. C+. I don't want to go with the numbers. I want to go with the letters today.
Oh,
C+.
I see. Okay, yeah.
Because it's close. It's just under a B. Just under a B.
So a 7.9. 7.8 or 7.
C+.
There is something
you
I
can't
just
steal
remembered.
my grading system.
Fucking fine. 7.8.
Yeah,
7.9.
That's a C+.
7.1.
That's a C+.
No,
7.1.
7.9.
Don't
That's
put
too
that
low.
up. 7.1.
That's too close to a D.
You can't change it just because
you erased this.
because we went higher than you.
Nope. 7.9.
Stick to your guns, Uble. Have some pride.
What was my first grade? What was my first fucking grade that I gave
C+.
this?
Out loud.
C+.
Said C+ out loud.
I said C+.
Okay, but why'd you go 7.1 then?
Because I fucking suck at math, motherfucker. C+. All
right.
7.9.
Oh, lastly, before I forget, because you did mention activity, and I needed to bring it up because I just remembered. There was the continuing thread of having Contessa Allegra de la Fontaine, Valentina Val.
You're just making up words. No, now you're just making up words, man.
No, Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character.
Oh yeah, Elaine.
She showed up again. Yeah, from Seinfeld. She showed up again.
Where was she in before?
That's right.
She showed up at the very end of Black Widow. She showed up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So she's been having a plot thread that's going to continue in like Thunderbolts.
Got it. Okay. Things. Yeah. And she was in her butt.
Elaine.
Yep. I don't remember seeing her in it.
All right, Morons.
Well, that was it.
We've made a lot of mincing.
Yes.
We've made a lot of movies.
How did you feel about the movie? Please let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, in the comments and whatnot. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yep.
Click on that bell for notifications. And if you want to be friends with Arturo here, go to Instagram, Arkham_Arturo, correct? Yeah, and Uble_Peñalosa.
Yeah.
And I'm Sam the Inkblot. And over there is Noel, our producer. I forget what your goddamn name is.
But it's right here.
It's actually part of the Marvel, like the comics. It's Nullifier.
Nullifier. Okay, Nullifier. You can find him if you want to be friends with him.
I always thought it was no filler. That's how I read it.
That's honestly,
I just glanced, so I said no filler. That's fucking weird, but okay. But it's Nullifier?
Yeah, it's the ultimate nullifier. It's what Reed Richards uses to like kill Galactus.
Well, speaking of Reed Richards,
that's who I thought the professor was.
Yeah, that was my idea too. So like Namor's really connected to the Fantastic Four in the comics.
Nerds, man. Yeah.
So like that was the thing. Like, I wasn't sure there was going to be a reference at some point because he's always trying to get an Invisible Woman, and whether or not he can potentially show up in a Fantastic Four film. Because the thing with Namor is that him as a character, his film rights are owned by Universal. So he can show up in films, but he can't have his own solo film until they buy that.
Like Hulk,
I guess. Exactly. It's the same deal as Hulk.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
But we could potentially see him in a Fantastic Four film.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Good night.
Morons. Good night, guys.
Enjoy your movies.
Have a good one.
Wakanda forever.